Hey friends, you're watching BrainStorm Acres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
Today we're going to talk about how we got our name. Robert Essiane's Family Garden did a really interesting show recently on how he came up with his name and what his name means. So we thought that since he had left an open tag that we'd jump in and tell a little bit about how we came up with BrainStorm Acres for our name.
When we moved here, we have 43 acres, and it's pretty much just a chunk of land. I mean, there was no real history to it. It was part of the original Ashford Cattle Company, is that what the name of it was?
I think that's right.
Which was like a 200,000 acre ranch. It was subdivided back in the 1970s, I think.
Yeah, the sales started, I think, around 1973.
So the land out here was chopped up, and it was mostly 40 acre parcels back then, some of it larger. Ours is 43. And we had spent the last 12 years or so trying to come up with a name for the place. I always wanted, one of these ranch gates with the bar across the top that had a name on it. I just thought that was cool, but we couldn't come up with something that we liked. You'd come up with a name and it'd be like, that's okay.
Meh.
Meh, meh, meh. And so we never came up with a name for the property. Under normal circumstances, we probably would have worked off something that was already in existence, but there just wasn't anything out here. This was just raw land that had been a cattle farm on a large scale.
Yeah, really? Very large cattle ranch, yeah.
Yeah. When it came time to name the YouTube channel, it's not like we could just work off the name of our ranch or something like that. We just always call it the ranch, We were trying to think of something, and I don't know, you had several suggestions, and I had a couple of suggestions, and then I'm like, why don't we just call it BrainStorm Acres? Because we're always brainstorming. That's kind of our mode of operation. We don't have a zillion dollars or a zillion pieces of equipment or any of that sort of stuff. So we have to make do with what we have, and we try and work harder and smarter. It's nice to work smarter rather than harder all the time. So that's what we did, is we came up with that name, and we batted it around for a while because we had several names that we had sort of left on the table thinking about them. We decided that was the cool one.
So Issa decided she had to come visit.
Yeah, she says, those people are holding still. Mom and Dad have been running around in circles doing all kinds of stuff today, and they haven't had time to play with me. So it was important, now that we sat down for a minute, for her to laugh. Usually she waits until after dinner. Well, she tries it during dinner.
Well, she's been out rolling in the dirt again.
Yeah, she's covered with sand. She likes to roll in the sand and get all dirty.
So BrainStorm seemed to be something that fit what we were doing out here. We have stuff on the property, stuff that we brought with us, stuff that's got to go away, and things we've collected since we've been here. And it's a matter of figuring out what can we do with it that we need done. So that's why BrainStorm Acres came up as a name.
Right. It's working with what you have and trying to work smart rather than hard.
Yeah, we've worked hard an awful lot.
We have, but there's hard and then there's stupid. And we really try and avoid the stupid part because we're a little too old for that stupid stuff. She's sticking her claws on you.
Yeah, she decided that I'm not soft enough.
Really? You need to be tenderized?
Okay, you're going to have to get down, Kat.
The area north of 40 here is more of a, back in the, late 60s or early 70s, something like that, that area was being fairly heavily developed, and there were entire groups of people who moved out together when they retired, coming from other parts of the United States, so that they would have friends. Basically, groups of friends moved there.
The two sides of I-40 have two different lot requirements.
Yep.
You go on the north side of I-40 over into Coconino County.
Very small a lot of
And
times.
you can have a 5-acre lot. I think there may be a few smaller than that.
Right.
Definitely there's a lot smaller lots in town.
Oh, yeah.
But on the south side of 40, which is where we are, when we bought, you had to have a 40-acre lot to start with as a minimum. So that's what we have.
We were basically trying to come up with something that described what we were doing out here. We didn't move out with a lot of resources. We had some, but not a lot. We both had a lot of skills that we had acquired really since we were kids. So we had skills, but we had to use our brains. And after we talked about it for a while, that's kind of where we came up with. We were always talking about brainstorming things. We said, well, then if we're going to call it, if we're brainstorming all the time, why don't we just call it BrainStorm Acres?
And the rest is history.
And a bitey pussycat. She takes a chop at you. She says
You know,
that
you're a real pest.
she can be.
I think you should get down. Again. And she's back.
That didn't last long. I have cat fur in my mouth. Did not even manage to land on the ground before she was back in there. It just kind of went poof.
I think I need to go brainstorm this cat. She's being a little bit of a pain. Now she's going to go after.
She says, "Sound check, sound check."
You're really. Thanks for.
She wants to play now. She's been cooped up in the house because it's been too cold for her to be outside for more than a few minutes at a time, and she harasses the birds that are coming to the bird bath.
Now she's harassing me.
And usually she spends a lot of time outside when it's not quite as cold because she's trying to catch herself a mouse. And that's awesome because it kind of wears her out a little bit. But now she's full of beans today because she's been inside because it's been too cold. She says, "I'm thinking about sticking you."
Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications because we're going to be playing with cats for a while, I think.
Yeah, right.
Thanks very much for watching. We'll talk with you later.
Bye.
Bye.